Hi guys, I'm Denton. I am a head tennis coach at Giles Tennis Academy. I was the tournament director at the Showdown SA. It was something that we've had an idea for a while, and I used to do something on a smaller scale in America and did something over here, and we thought we'd make a bigger event. The reason why we started the Showdown and where we got the idea to do the Showdown is in the past I had to do a couple events in the States for a club that I used to work there, Tokenique Tennis Club in Connecticut, and we used to have a World Team Tennis event. The director of tennis at the time, John Hamill, spoke to me about an event that he tried to introduce to the NCAA about time. So the idea stuck in my head, and we started implementing the idea a little bit here on a smaller scale at the Giles Tennis Academy, where we hosted a couple of these events, and it was very successful. We finally decided that tennis needs a change. Tennis is boring. Nobody wants to watch tennis, and we wanted to change the spectators' view of what tennis should be and can be. Playing college tennis myself and seeing some of the players playing college tennis and know what Davis Cup can bring, and being at a Grand Slam, we wanted to bring all the fun aspects of all the other sports and all the fun aspects of tennis together, and we host a tournament where players enjoy it, spectators enjoy it, and then sponsors would be able to get involved because we'd have more eyes on tennis. As the tournament director of Showdown, I had a lot of responsibilities to get the tournament to be off. First, we had to get the right players to be able to play in the tournament. Then I had to sit with the owners and see what sponsorship they can bring in additionally. Then it was to contact people one by one and explain to them actually what the idea of it is, because nobody has seen or heard of this before. So it was a lot of phone calls individually, and it was managing 4 business owners that are very competitive towards each other to make sure that everybody has the same vision, understands the rules, and that everything is clear cut. After that, it was finding the scoring system that would be fair. Then it was to create the scoring sheets for the captains to be handed in, the day-to-day flow of how things would work. So it was an Excel sheet. We had to look at the time, the amount of time players were supposed to spend, create a fun scoring system that spectators would understand, that would still can be used in a round robin format where there's wins and losses, which would still be fair towards a team that wins versus a team that loses, where one team accumulates a lot of points. And then it was also just to create the vibe on the day, like what would flow first, what would come first, the different type of events that needed to be hosted in the day, like the serving competition. We were yet to get to the tweener competition, getting the crowd involved in some of the serving acts. And then the final part was when the tournament was done, we had to collect all the data so that we can get the player stats out, so that they can have something that the players look forward to, spectators can follow, and maybe some of the betting companies can get involved with. Stats is always something cool that most sports have and tennis players don't really have. Okay, so how the draft had to work is it had to be fair. So that's why we threw all the players into one draw, and some of the team owners came up with suggestions where they wanted certain players. In most team situations, a player would be offered a couple contracts and they would either go to a team. So the owners would get together, they would send me their team captains, which they nominated and paid an extra fee for to go towards the big prize money. If there was no conflict, there was no bidding, they would get the player for the agreed amount. And if there was conflict, then they were able to bet, and then the highest bid would be able to get the player. So it came down to whose pocket was bigger in the end. Once again, the money was sent back to the big prize money, just to create a little bit of fun around the draft. Then they said, okay, but we have a captain, and there's a one girl's captain. Okay, so what happened is there was 3 male captains and 1 female captain, and they said for equality we need to have a captain of each gender, so we did something similar. After that, the draft was concluded by drawing straws on who can go first, and we would go on a snake basis. So if you drew 1, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and next one would be 4, 3, 2, 1. So then the draft was streamed live on Instagram, so people could either tune in, and then there was already a buzz going there. The nice thing on the day of the draft, all the team owners and the different sponsors came together and they all strategized about what teams they want to take where. All I did is to provide them with platforms where they can do some research on the players. One was UTR, 2 was maybe college matches, 3 was the TSA Sporty HQ website, and 4 was the ITF website, where they would be able to go through the players' names and just go look at a little bit of playing history and make a judgment call on their own. Because some of them are tennis parents, the owners, but they're familiar with their own age group and they haven't been familiar with the players that have been older than their players, or even of the new up-and-coming youngsters. So that made it a little bit interesting to see business owners and not all the coaches making all the decisions. Brought in a little bit more fun as well. Well, the main sponsorship for the success of the event was the 4 business owners that bought into the concept so that we could have an appearance fee. After that, the rest of the money had to be found so that we can have a big prize money, and then also for all the other stuff that happened on the day, the music, the coaches that arrived, the umpires that we had to get in to help us with the day. So there was various factors that we had to pay for, and depending on how much sponsorship money we could get in, that's how we could run the tournament on the day. Then obviously it helps if you have somebody that likes to ask for a little bit of money. So we know John Lafney de Jager, he's a very well connected guy, so he was able to set up a couple of business meetings for us, and then we could propose to the people what we were trying to do. And most people were very excited about it because it's a new market. It creates new excitement. It's something different where all the other sponsors are part of rugby or cricket. It just gave them a little bit of a different angle, and it's a new venture. I think the Showdown has a very bright future. Tennis is a very negative sport because as soon as you lose, you're out. Wimbledon has 128 players in the main draw. We're not even talking about the qualifying, so let's say 256. And in the end of the day, one person walks away happy. So we need a team sport where, one, it's fun, people can share their pain or their excitement, and they need followership. Like you would have at Manchester United, Liverpool, All Blacks, Springboks, that type of stuff. So going forward, I think this is something that really can create a lot of excitement, especially out of the management part of it, because players will be drafted. There's business owners with coaches making decisions. There can be coaching on the court. The business owner can talk to the coaches. Players can be substituted. It's got all the elements of the successful sports and what makes the other sports successful, plus a couple other angles. And then simplifying the scoring system, because most people don't understand complicated scoring systems. The other thing that made it very attractive is you don't know with a tennis match if it's going to be 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours. With the Showdown, you know exactly it's going to be like a rugby or soccer game. You know there's an estimated amount of time and you're trying to accumulate as much points as possible. So it's action packed, it's fast paced, and then it's exciting. Okay.